Okay, so step one is to build a basic personal homepage, landing page. I've been chatting things through with ChatGPT, and we think that's the best place to start. I agree. And most of my coding knowledge and experience on the website, at least, has been with Next.js and React, but I'm quite interested in Astro. It particularly for like content-driven sites, so blogs, that kind of thing. It seems to be pretty good, and so I'm kind of using this as an opportunity to learn. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start with the docs. I've created an empty Git repository. I'm going to skip over some of the more basic fundamental stuff like that, but obviously if you want to learn about that, then let me know. But I've created a Git repository. I've cloned it locally. There's nothing in there at the moment. Just my VS Code config, which I use for every project I start. I always copy that in. I can share that with you if you're keen. It also uses this great Tokyo Night theme, amongst other things. So I've got that ready to go. Other than that, it's a totally empty repository. Got the Astro docs. I've never used Astro before, so I'm going to work through this and see if we can get a homepage up and running. So we know we've got Node running on machine. We're using VS Code. They recommend the Astro extension. So let's go and install that. I've got extensions up here. Astro. There we go. 5 stars. That's got to be pretty good. So, right, done and done. Next thing is to get going. Now, I tend to use PNPM rather than NPM. Can't remember why I started using it, but I've been using it ever since, so I'm just going to stick with it. But obviously, you know, there's different options there. So we just want to run PNPM, create Astro. Now I use for things like this, I've used the built-in template, built-in terminal. I do also have Alacrity, which I use for running sort of background terminal applications and things like that, but for kind of project-based quick look commands like that, I tend to run it in VS Code just to keep it, you know, close to where I'm working. Right, so we want to create it here. Now it's always confused me. I don't know if that's going to create it within this repository, or if it's going to sort of duplicate everything down. So what should we call it? Normally, so it's already in my project. Let's just call it source, shall we? Get a bit boring. Basic helpful starter project recommended, that will do. Install dependencies, why not? We've already got the Git, so we don't need to do that. So let's see. Yeah, so it has done the thing that I thought it was going to do, which is actually install the whole of the project. So we need to back up. Let's merge our VS Code extensions folder. It should match anyway, because we've already got. So let's add Astro build into my extensions. Save that. And then we've also then got launch, which we can copy into my VS Code, and then we'll get rid of that one, and then we'll move everything up to the root. So schoolboy error by me. I do this every time I set a project up. Yeah. Let's rename this to Astro. And let's move everything out of Astro up to the root. I do that every time I set up a project. I always create the repo first and then set up, use the installer inside, and then it creates an extra nested folder. So anyway, that's tidied up. So we've now got everything set up in the root. So we've got our README, Astro, excellent PNPM file. We've got a TS config already set up. Nice. Layouts, components, don't know what any of this means yet because I've never used it before. Cool, so looks like we're good to go. And normally what I'd do at this point is I would commit that project setup. Stage and commit. That is done. We should be able to sync. It's gonna have to. It's not gonna like it because I'm gonna need to create a link it to the remote. There we go. Sorted. Excellent. So we've got our project set up. Now let's figure out what's going on, shall we? So we've installed our dependencies, so we can start the Astro dev server. So let's see what happens there, shall we? So pnpm run dev, let's give that a go. So localhost 4321, let's follow that. There it is. So we can see that's now running. Open source pages and directory in your project. So it kind of looks very similar to React, except it doesn't use JSX, so it's using HTML, which is interesting. Now what I'd like to do, and what I normally do with these projects, is rather than go crazy on the development, I actually like to get things deployed, testing full end-to-end deployment, because then I can start pushing things live straight away. So actually what I'd like to do is now figure out actually how do I deploy this and get it deploying, and then I know that actually that can be done, and kind of everything I then start doing is pushing to prod directly. It saves you having to worry about that later on. So what I want to do, I'm going to choose, I think, to use Vercel because it's free, so that's ideal. So here we go, adapter. So they've got a first party adapter, which means it's fully supported by Astro, which is great. So let me see, pnpm Astro add Vercel. So let's run that. Let's stop my development server from running. Give that a run. Yes. Let's make that a bit bigger. It's going to update the config file. That seems all right to me. So that's done and dusted. Excellent. So then how to deploy, push your code to a Git repository, import your project in Vercel. Vercel will automatically detect Astro and configure the right settings. Perfect, so let's give that a go. I'll just log in over here into Vercel. Sorry, bear with. Got a bit of just tidying up to do with ourselves. Bear with me. can edit this out a bit. Okay, nice. Sorry, nearly there. Right. Okay. So I'll add from my Git provider, import. Okay, so I'm just now linking my Vercel project to GitHub. Here we go, framework preset Astro, so it's detected that, it's detected the root directory. That's all fine, there's no environment variables required at the moment. Let's deploy. Excellent. So I will add a custom domain. So I own gregsharples.com. So we've set that up, connect that to production. So save that. So production will push to. So what I need to do is go and set these over on my DNS provider. So I use Porkbun, which I recommend. It's very simple, good value. I'm going to do that off screen, obviously, because it's got lots of my information on there. But there's plenty of guidance around how you set that up. So I'm going to do that now. Configure my DNS. So just going to set up my aliases. So I've got an A record, which is this one here. Set that time to live as pretty quick, and then I've got a C name record for www, and that comes to here. So I'm just adding my records. Vercel's now generating a SSL, which is great, super easy. So normally when I deploy, I'll deploy via AWS. You have to do a lot of this stuff yourself via Terraform, but obviously for the, I'm trying to do things quick and easy here, and for a home page, it doesn't change much. Don't really need all that sort of extra faff. So this is great. It's my first time actually deploying a proper app to Vercel as well. So this is all good, new, but very impressed so far for what it is. So that's saying that's okay. Invalid configuration here though. Let's just see if that's worked. Okay, waiting for the certificate. Fine. So it has worked, but there's just an SSL issue. Maybe that's going to take a minute to resolve. But anyway, so it looks like the deployment's working okay, which is awesome. So that now means that we've basically linked from Codebase to production, and actually we can start deploying straight to the home page. So it's super exciting. That all seems to be set up okay. So there we go, it's working. Saying the SSL isn't set up. Let's give that a minute, that might be fine. So let's just try that now. So if we come and make a change, so if we go to our welcome, we can just get rid of this for now and just say welcome to my homepage. We'll save that. So there's a couple of changes on here. Update homepage, configure Astro. Alright, so we've committed those changes. We push those. So it's now pushing up to Git. Let's see what happens. Okay, I don't really know my way around Vercel. So, okay, production 5 minutes ago. I wonder if that will like immediately detect it, or if it might take a minute. While we're waiting for that, let's just have a little look. What else we can see? So we get free speed and performance, that's cool. No data available yet, fair enough. No logs coming through, we get some observability, very cool. See everything else. Got this database, I'll get rid of that, that's an old one. Let's go to it. It's still showing as the old ones, doesn't it? It's detected the change. Let's have a quick look. So push code to connected repository, new pull repository. Each commit or pull request automatically triggers a new deployment. Okay, so we should expect there to be a new deployment. Maybe it's just going to take a minute. Okay, well while that's doing that, let's get back to Astro. Done that. Need a huge amount. Right, let's have a little look, shall we? So project structure. So we've got this more or less. If we go and look at our folder structure, so we've got our public, which is obviously for our images, static assets. Then we've got source, a bit more, some components, layouts, and pages. What does that mean? So pages, routes are created for your site running supported file types. So it's a required subdirectory, so it won't work. So that to me looks like our route. So we've got the index. So I wonder if we duplicate that, call that something like new route. Just keep it simple for now. Just need to start the development server. Localhost 4321. So it's got the updated text on there. What did I say? New route. Okay, so that has worked. So obviously adding pages here gives us new paths. So let's get rid of that new route. So we don't actually want that. Everything's going to be on the home page. And then you can see there that it's no longer found. So that's great. It's components, reusable units of code. So much like React, if you're familiar with that. You can even use React components. Clever. Let's have a quick look into that. So I wonder if we can use JSX. Okay, so you can import JSX components. Very cool. I won't get too much into the detail there because that's not something we're looking to do yet. All right, layouts. So this is again very much like React, so we can create shared layouts. So this would be common components, common kind of structure, for example, toolbars, sidebars, that kind of thing, which pages can use. Clever. Styles, CSS, that's a good point. I wonder if we can use Tailwind. Haven't thought about that. To public, so that's the important thing. They don't actually get processed, they just get copied into the build folder untouched. Package.json is typical package manager, Astro config. Makes sense. TS config again, standard stuff. If you want me to talk more in detail about those, I can, but just configuration, so I won't worry too much about the detail. What else do I want to know? I'd be interested to understand if we can use Tailwind, Astro Tailwind, see what happens there. Looks like we can. I've used it previously, so that's why I'm kind of interested. A lot of my components would already be Tailwind. I do find the setup generally can be a little annoying. Okay. A little confused here. In Astro 5.2, which we should be on because we're using the latest, so we're 5.7. So we can just use PNPM Astro add Tailwind. Let's do that because I like that. I'll keep the server running, so create a new version, and then we'll just run it here. Sorry, a new terminal. So yes. Just going to say yes to everything, so it's going to create a global CSS. It's going to add the Vite plugin. So you must import your Tailwind style sheet in a shared layout. Fine. So import Tailwind CSS into global CSS, which should have already happened. Yep, so that's done automatically. And then import this file in page 3 on Tailwind to apply. Brilliant. In a layout component. So if I go to my layout, so at the moment that doesn't use Tailwind. I should be able to add that to the top. And now my global layout should support Tailwind. So any file that shares that layout will support Tailwind. So if I go to my index file, you can see it imports the layout, so that will work with Tailwind. That's the page, use the welcome component. So we should be able to do something here. So let's take our welcome to sorry, clicking around a bit here. I've got my local host running, localhost 4321. So welcome to blah blah blah. So I should be able to say, is it class name? It's class name, no, class. That has made it slightly bigger. Can we do let's go text red 500, see if that works. There we go. So now we've got Tailwind working. Very cool. So we could probably actually remove a lot of the style stuff once we get into the development of it. We can actually remove a lot of the styling because you can see we've got some Astro bits. This is cool. Very cool. Right, let's just check in on our Vercel and see if it's actually deployed anything. It's still saying 14 minutes ago, so it doesn't seem to have picked up the latest version. It has picked up the HTTPS now, so that's good. But it hasn't picked up the changes. On no preview deployments. Push to the main branch, which we've done. Pretty sure. Let's just check that. Git status. See, I've made some changes. We're on main. Let's update those. So we've added Tailwind. To do that now, we'll sync. That should work for us. strange. Just checking Git now. Okay, so there's. Let me just show you on GitHub. So actually, I'm getting a build failing. No GitHub account was found matching the commit author email address, so that's why it's not building. That's a bit annoying. See what's going on there, shall we? So I need to probably set my Git address to suit so I'll set it for a single repository. So I'll show you what I'm reading here. So this is what we need to do. I need to set it to my email address. So git config user.email. And then so let's try that. Now let's welcome to Greg Sharple's homepage. Just change that to an exclamation mark. So we should get a change now, so we can update that. Okay, and then let's push it. Now let's see what happens. That's busted, huh? The commit author email address. So maybe I need to set it to my GitHub email. Okay, let's try that. Sorry, bear with me. Let's go to my settings. Where are my settings? I'm just playing around with GitHub. Profile settings. Okay. Okay, bear with me. Just got to verify my email. So I'm doing this off screen because it's obviously on my settings page, but if there's any, if you want to talk me through this, you run into this issue, just send me a message and I'll let you know what I did. But essentially I had to add my gregsharples.com email, which is the one that I've set my repository email address to. I have to add that to my GitHub account. So hopefully now I'll try it again in a second. I'm just trying to validate my email. Sign in. Right. 3. Just using my mobile. GitHub's asked me to do that. Okay, email is verified. Right then. So now then, let's go back to my commits and see if we can retry. Might not let me. Don't think it actually comes within actions, does it? No. Okay, it's done as a check. So let's try pushing again. Make another little change. So we've changed that now. That's now pushing. So look. Okay, now we're talking. So Vercel is deploying the app. Excellent. So now if I come back to Vercel, right, there we go. So I'm glad we checked that. Perfect. So we've got our deployment working. So the next thing is to essentially build the page. Now, you know, the main thing around this project is we want to do things quickly, lightweight, and we want to kind of move fast, and that's the whole point of what we're showing here. So, you know, I plan to use AI quite a lot. Okay, so we might have noticed this sudden change of lighting and change of outfit. So yeah, had to pause the video yesterday, but picking it back up today. So just to recap where we are, we've got our local basic Astro site working. We've got it so it deploys via Vercel to live, and now we need to put some decent content in there. So the main things I want to put in there, bit of interesting content, nothing too crazy at the minute. So my first port of call is just a little bit about me, and mainly more about my kind of journey, if you like, on the sort of building an audience and the 48-hour app build. So I want to get that on there. But just a starting point, obviously this will evolve every day. We could be adding more things to this content, but I just want to get the sort of bare bones up there and show you how show enough to get started. Then over the next few days, I could be adding more content and, you know, recorded videos on that if that's useful. So that's the plan. So at the moment, not too much content, just want something reasonable. And the other thing I want is kind of a newsletter sign-up page, just so I can kind of start to track people who are interested in what I'm doing, and you know, obviously be contacting them with information and updates around what I'm up to. So cool. So this is the current state of the page on localhost. Now, I'm not much of a designer, so I'm always up for using a shortcut. So I did actually subscribe some time ago to Tailwind CSS, and they've got some templates on there. You know, this is an alright template at the moment. You know, it's got some pictures, it's got some article links, it's got a stay up to date section, and this little navigation. Now, we probably don't need most of this yet. I think it will be a very basic start point, but I want to use this and see if I can get this into Astro. So I'm going to download the files. And there's probably going to be loads of stuff on there which isn't going to be ideal. Also, this is made for React and Next. Now, obviously, we can use React components in Astro, which is really cool. But here we go. So we've got some files. We've got source, some components. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this in. So this is something I've done before. and we'll see how we go. But I'm going to try and copy this over into my project, and I'm going to create a new, not a new file, and create a new folder in my repository called example homepage, and then I'm just going to copy this content into here. Now, let's see how we get on with this. So first things first, I'm going to exclude it from, we've got a git ignore, yeah. So let's just add that to the git ignore. So example home page, that should get rid of that so it doesn't push it. Just update the git ignore. We can sync that, should deploy a new one, but no actual changes. Okay, and then next step is, we've got a chat going on here. Drag the homepage, example homepage over so it's got that context, and then drag the source over, and then I'm going to start. So I'm building, and also my aim, by the way, is to finish this off within the next perhaps hour. So that's my clock. Let's see, hopefully I'll be quicker than that. So that's why I'm moving quite quickly. If there's anything you want to see that I skip over and you want to understand more, obviously just drop us a note on the video, comment, send me a message, any of those things on my socials, and I'll be sure to get back to you, or I can build content around that. I can write an article, make a video for you, or whatever you want to do. Just let me know, and I'll help you as much as I can. So I'm building a personal homepage using Astro. In the source folder. It contains a rough layout of what I'm trying to achieve. Okay. Just have a quick look at this site, because I'm going to tell it at the moment. So it's got, like, for example, it's got dark mode, you don't have to worry about that. At the moment I just need the basic landing page, hero section, newsletter sign up. Just saying, I'm just building a basic landing page at the minute. Don't need to worry about copying too much of this over. I don't need the work history. Maybe let's just say, maybe we do want a project page. Actually, I'm going to change it. I might do, okay. So we'll make a toolbar. I'm thinking for now, we want landing page, about page, project page, and what was the other one? Articles. If required. Let's just start with the home page, matching the hero section, the toolbar, and the images. Let's see what happens. I think while this is running, the key things here are really explicit with the examples. I think try and minimize the scope for what you ask Gemini or Cursor to do, or Claude or any of the other models to do each time. Obviously, we're trying to move quickly, which means we want to give it some freedom. But sometimes, one of the things I've found quite a lot is you give it too much freedom, it goes down a rabbit hole and it's really hard. You end up kind of scrapping it all and wasting a lot of time. So there's definitely a balance. I think a real big important thing to do is to make use of Git, so that every time you make a change that you're happy with, commit it. Because then if you're not going down that rabbit hole too far making changes, much like I've done that as a personal developer as well, where I've gone too deep on changes in the past and then ended up having to try and unpick them and basically ended up scrapping the changes that I've made, and it's no different. So let's see what's happening here. So it's working away. If we go into our source, so it's obviously starting to build some components. It's having some React issues. So let's see. I'm just going to ask it, do you think it's better to convert the React components or use as they are? Part of me thinks it might be better to convert them. Also, I'm using Gemini here, which I've actually found has worked really quite well. I'm not too... I had a reasonable conversation with Gemini. It does push back a little bit more than the other models, but I actually quite like that. So I would recommend it. So it does give quite long answers though, so I've had to call it out quite a lot. Let's just skim through these. There's pros and cons. So convert it to Astro, better performance, fewer dependencies. We need to translate React patterns, but hopefully we shouldn't need too many things like use state. Using TSX. Yeah, let's migrate to Astro. It's complaining about imports, but that obviously doesn't matter. The imports won't matter if forget about the import statements. We shouldn't need too much interactivity. So toolbar, maybe. I mean, there's not a lot happening there though. A bit hovering, so shouldn't be a problem. So see, I've never done this before. Obviously, I've not used Astro, so it'd be interesting to see how Gemini handles converting between components. Quite cool. Seems to be doing okay on face value. Interesting to see how the Tailwind, I feel we might potentially run into an issue with Tailwind utility classes and things like that not been properly defined, but let's see. And I'll have to pause at some point to go and find some photos to put on my homepage, but for now I think we're doing okay. So I want to get rid of container. See how it's doing that for me. Read my mind. There we go. So, right, it's now saying the header TSX is quite complex. Yeah, let's simplify things. We don't need a dark mode, and I'm not sure what interactivity or hooks we need. God, sorry, typing is lazy these days. I think what I'm talking about there is, so at the moment it highlights what page you're on, so if you change pages it knows. I imagine that's probably, or was probably using state. We could go and have a look. So example homepage, it's a toolbar, wasn't it? Header maybe. Mobile navigation. yeah, so used is active, which, okay, it's a variable defined on the path name, so it wasn't using states, it did actually use the path name. So that's something we could probably replicate. Now, public images, so it's copying images over, which is fine for now because we can replace these. So it's actually copying in the placeholder images, which is okay. I'm happy with that because it'll make it easy for me to drop in my images later on. And whilst it's happening, so what I'm going to do, I think, what I'm after is like a newsletter management service. So I've looked at some, and they're all quite heavy duty. Now, I haven't used Mailgun before, but I'm pretty sure it does allow you to add, allows you to add users via API. So that's the functionality I want. So someone comes to the website, they put their newsletter, they put their email address in, and then I can track it. And it's a free service here. It doesn't actually put any limits on. So it says you've got mailing lists included. I don't think they actually charge for mailing lists. So it's kind of perfect. You know, obviously I might want to send some emails out in the future, and I'll probably send some to confirm when people sign up, that kind of thing. But you know, 100 emails a day, if I get 100 subscribers a day, I'll be very impressed. So I think that's going to be fine. So whilst Gemini is doing its thing, I'll start signing up for Mailgun. So we'll come back to use that in a minute. So let's just see what's going on here. Header Astro. What's going on? Something just happened, so it's never really figured out. So can you try again? Basically what's happening here is it's failing to make some edits. Okay, fine, so that's now thinking away, and I'm going to sign up on the side to Mailgun. Obviously, you know, you can use any service, equivalent service. Basically, you want something that's got an API that allows you to post email addresses to and add to a mailing list. So if you find a better one, I'll be very keen to hear about it. Annoyingly, it's saying like basic 10k. I don't want to do that. I want to sign up to a free one. It's like, I don't want a free one. Okay, right, got you. Don't add the payment info. Sorry, I'll come back to the screen in 2 seconds. Just setting up my Mailgun account. Right, that's setting up. Okay. How's this looking now? Projects, yeah, great. Right, we can get rid of those because we don't want to use those. Accept the changes in the file. Okay, there are no linting errors. Let's just say before we do the in action. So what I'm saying there is before we go and make all the components, let's just sort this out so we start to actually see it getting built. Now I'm just got to validate my Mailgun email address. So that's happening now. There we go. Okay, not too bad. Links out to the pages. Okay, it's got my avatar, which returns to home. Cool. Got the shadow. Do you see how that compares? Not too bad. Font maybe slightly different, but you know what? For now, I'm kind of happy with that. Sorry, just mail gun again. Still after my attention, so that's fine. So I might again just do a little git commit. So you can say working toolbar and header. We can send that off. So that now I'm pushing that should appear live shortly. So, and then we'll tell Gemini to carry on. Yeah, that's good. So continue building out the home page. While that's going, I'm just going to continue with my Mailgun setup. Oh, that's annoying. I've already got another account. Ha. Must have set that up. Set that up unbeknownst in the past. Okay, well I'll try and log into that other account and use that instead. So what we need here. Creating stuff, so that's still going. I think I set up Mailgun, or attempted to set up Mailgun for an old excuse me, for an old company. So what can I do now instead? Because I can't get into Mailgun. Frustratingly. Let's just try forgot password. See if that helps me out. Doesn't have much luck here. Oh, too many emails there. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Okay, so Mailgun's out, those things. That's unfortunate. So that's working away nicely. So whilst that's working away, on the side I'm just trying to find other mail list alternatives. Okay, so let's get. So here's my home page. Tell you what, that's looking pretty cool, isn't it? I want to see what this looks like live, so I want to push this up and see how quickly we can deploy it. So that's looking pretty good. Log back into our Vercel. It's not hard to see, was it? Vercel activity. Okay, let's take it now. How do I actually see the deployment? Like that. Okay, so that's now, just now. So there we go. So now it's live on my site. Easy as that. I need to obviously change the text, change the images. So I'll work on the images. I'll probably do that separately because you don't need to see me finding 5 images, but I'll update that after. I want to work on the text, and I think actually for here, I think I just want to leave my X account and Twitter account for now. So I might drop. Can you hide? I need to update that with my actual account, which I haven't set up yet. Well, I haven't properly set up yet. Let me see. Get that going. So what is my handle, my link? So it's at Greg Sharples. Very imaginative. See if it figures that out. Go. So that works. Excellent. Cool. So I will what do I do to photos then? No, just a formatting issue. Very cool. So if we go back to the spotlight, so that's what we're going to do next. So we, on the example site, there is a newsletter sign up. If I scroll down here, when I scroll down my version, there's nothing there. So I want to add a footer just to finish this off, and I want to add the newsletter. So if we go back to the demo, it's got this nice work card, this stay up to date, which I want to basically add that in over here for now. And then it's got the footer, which just makes the bottom of the site look decent. And that kind of rounds that off. Then I'll put placeholders in for the about and the article pages. So I just want like a coming soon. I want to keep obviously the header, my avatar there. And then yeah, that will kind of do that nicely. So let's see. I don't know if the example site had a nice kind of like 404 page. What's going on here? Prism CSS. Nice. It's actually got some theming in the example site. Anyway, so we do have a not found page, which we could maybe copy. So I'm just kind of looking at various bits of code, which you don't need to worry about. So that's working away. I'm going to try and find another Mailing list API. This is really winding me up now. I suppose I could use something like HubSpot. Might do the job. That might not be too bad an idea. What's the pricing on HubSpot, hey? Is there a free tool? What do you get? Email marketing, 2,000 email sends a month. Quite a lot of other stuff, but I imagine you must get a little bit of CRM. I'll just have a little look into that. Request every 10 seconds should be fine. Contacts. I assume we can have people as contacts. Is that the best way to go? Oh, very nice. I wonder if there's an easier option. I could self-host something. Just put it in a database. Just being tight really, but try to do it free. Right, we'll come back to that. So let's have a look at the site now. So kind of okay, although it looks a bit rubbish. Footer's looking good. Fine. So a couple of points. I'm just saying maybe split it up to 2 columns. Full height over here. So I'm just saying, really just kind of move it. What was the other thing? Also in the example site, there is a not found page. And so it's much easier if you just drag that over. No, scrap that because I don't want it to be a not found. I want to do something slightly different. Okie doke. So, right, back to this mailing list business. I'm on Reddit investigating what's best to use. MailerLite or MailChimp? MailChimp's a classic. Maybe that is the one to go for. Oi, big decisions. Slow me down. Right, let's see what's happening over here. Okay, that's perfect. And I'll change the text in there. Let's see what happens if I make my site small. All right, we lose the navigation. That's the only thing. We've still got it at the bottom. Not too worried about that for now. Not yet. Okay, so that's all looking pretty good. So I'm going to commit that. So that's a add footer and newsletter. Sign up to homepage. Okay, now so these should inherit the layout. I'm not sure actually what I want to check. So the layout, much like in Next, contains standard images, and what we want is to make sure that our layout, so it has the footer. If I go on our home page, so the header is in the home page, it shouldn't. Notice that our header so by moving that, so basically if I click on this at the moment, obviously it goes to its own 404. What I'm saying is this header should be consistent across all our pages, so I want to move that out of there. So MailerLite up to 1,000 subscribers on the free tier. 1,000 monthly emails. Sorry, 12,000 monthly emails. That should probably do me. Doesn't have an API. I would have thought so. Let's just check MailerLite API. Of course it does. Subscribers. Get my subscriber, create or upsert a subscriber. Perfect. MailChimp free tier. Try for free. No, I want try for free. Try for free. I just want actual free. Starting price £0 a month. Limit of 500 contacts. I mean, 500, 1,000. It's fine, isn't it? What do you reckon? MailerLite. Give that a bash. See how we go. Right, I'll sign up for MailerLite while that's happening. So what does this say? You should now be able to navigate on your site, placeholder pages. Let's see what placeholder pages look like. All right. So I'm looking okay. Does that take me home? It does. It's even pulling dynamically the site name in. How's it doing that? That's cool. Just going to look at the header. Yeah, it gets current path from the path name. Very cool. So that's not looking too shabby. I'm kind of happy with that as a basis. So let's commit those. So the next thing, not sure how default not found works in. Let's just go blah blah blah. See what happens. So that takes you to a not found page. So we must have one somewhere. So it looks like there's a 404. Let's try it, shall we? So good. Easy as pie. So blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. find what you're looking for. Cool. So that is all looking very good. Great. Forget what I'm talking to. I'm talking to the commit box. So that is all very cool. Okay, so now I'm wondering how that's going to work by deploying to Vercel. Because typically, one thing right here is we typically have we're actually running an Astro server, aren't we? It's not been deployed as a static site. So we're not doing a build step and deploying statically. So we have an Astro server, so it should be fine. So let's see. I'm just going to clarify the instruction. That is, we So this is how I often do things, particularly when we're doing web development. So I'll be like, right, let's get the client side working, and then you often have the intermediate server, so that might be the next server, for examend, and then you might have a backend API beyond that, or in our case, our mail list API. So it's like everything working from client to our web server, and then once that bit's working, we can then implement pushing that data to our mailing service. So I'm just going to log into MailerLite, or sign up for MailerLite. Just see how long I've been going now. 40 minutes. Okay, so I need to sign up. I've got 20 minutes to get things moving. So I think if I can get this mailing list sign up done, then that's probably the end of the tutorial. All I've got to do is I'll just go and replace my images, change the text and push that. So that's just something that I can do on the side, but you've got an idea of how to build the site, or how I've built the site, and then I'm just going to update the content, and then it's good to go. That's step one. And then beyond that, it's on with the audience building plan. So what's going on here? Let's have a look at our API. I should 404 hadn't refreshed. That's gone. So we can push all those changes. Right, let's take a look at our API route then. What's been created here? So it's called subscribe. So it imports the type of API route from Astro. Looks legit. Just a reminder, if I go back to the Astro, sorry, this is my site, by the way. It's now being updated. Very cool. Right, Astro.js docs API route. So endpoints. Server endpoints, here we go. Just going to write it a bit like next. We define the function as get. There we go, there's the type, sorry. So there's the type. We'll define it as async, so we'll try get request as JSON, extract the email data. Does a little bit of validation, so we can work on the validation type, but again, for now, it's probably fine, because we'll get that validation on the MailerLite side, I hope. Which I'm also just signing up for over here on the side. Just bear with me. Right, signed up. Okay, and that's saying if it's a string, go okay, blah blah blah. So that is that. So it looks like the API is fine. So let's say now we want to do the client side. So I'm just thinking about how we actually call endpoints from the server. So here's an example. Create an endpoint API. On any Astro page, import the get method from the endpoint. Cool. Easy. So we just import the function. Again, it's a bit like Next Server Actions. Call it the Astro Global to provide request context and use the response on the page. Easy as that. Okay. Do that. So whilst that's generating, I'm still trying to sign up to MailerLite. A minute. Here we go. Got my validation. Well, it's a long validation code. No, it's 6-digit nonsense. 10-digit code. Okay. Complete profile. So what's happening here? So it says it's updated. Okay, so that's shocking. Okay, so this is the get. I'm not sure how it works with post. Let's see. Hang on a minute. Right, we've got an argument on our hands here. Let me see. Astro post. Build forms with API routes. Okay. Got you. made the screen really big text because obviously I want it to be clear for the video, but I'm sitting too close to it. It's giving me a bit of a headache. Classic. I'll sit back a little bit. Okay, sorry. So this is just working through. I'm having a bit of an argument here with Gemini. It's written a bare bones JavaScript. It's kind of fair enough. Let's give it a go, shall we? So if we go home and we type an error occurred during submission. It's interesting, it doesn't say anything here about turning off pre-rendering, but take their word for it. Ah, there you go. Not needed in server mode. Am I in server mode? How do I get to server mode? Okay, no, we don't need to do that. In the meantime, I think I'm nearly set up with MailerLite. So I just need to get an API key, I believe, and I'm on my way. Account settings. Nope. Integrations, maybe. API. Yes. I'm just going to take this off screen a minute because I want to add an environment variable and I don't want you seeing it. Bear me 1 second. Okay, and that is done. Right, so seems happier about stuff. Let's try that again. Successfully subscribed, hey? Let's have a look. Did it print? Success. New newsletter. Incredible. So, Bosh, that is done. Now, the final piece of the jigsaw, excuse me, turn my mic. Excuse me. So here's some basic instructions. So all the basic instructions just says what the address is, which you'll see in a second. And then let me just bring this over here. So made it blah blah. So I've generated API key. Obviously I've done that off screen. Excuse me. Oh, here's the instructions that I've already copied in. There is an SDK. If we feel that way inclined, let's have a look, shall we? Often works quite well. Allows us to do the API key. Let's do that instead, actually. There is a Node SDK. All we want to do is generate a client and then create or update a subscriber. The subscriber. Let's put that there. So that all looks pretty groovy. Now then, let's see what happens. One thing I'll be thinking about here is, okay, we need to generate the client, but it's going to be such low volume. So npm install MailerLite Node.js. That is what the instruction said, wasn't it? Yes. Okay. How are we getting on for time? So I set myself an hour deadline for making this work. 4 minutes. I'm not sure I'll quite make that, but oh, it's npm. Oh, I do that a lot. It defaults to npm, so I need to say we use pnpm. That's why it hasn't been installed. It catches me out every now and again. Okay. It's Friday night. Getting hungry. Let's get this wrapped up, and then what I'm going to do after here M-file is set up. So let's just say get your mvar in there, but I've already done that. Yeah, so once hopefully this works, and that's basically it. I'll tweak the content. There's not a huge amount just while that's running. I'll just go back and revisit the site. Not a huge amount to change here. Right? Obviously, I'll change my picture. I'll change the copy here and here, and then I'm not sure if I'll put anything on here yet. I might actually just leave it as the home page for now. I'll just comment out these other bits, because yeah, I haven't got the content, so I'll just tweak this to be focused on what I'm doing this weekend, change these images, and that's my starting point then. And then it's just a case of iterating on this page, this site going forwards, which is great. So I'll do that offline, because it's just a case of me scouting through some old photos, trying to find something decent. And then, yeah, we're kind of getting there. So interested in that. Port meta, perfect. That is cool. I wonder if we can tag. I'm just wondering, I might tag. Well, I'm not going to add too many from dev, but MailerLite. Excuse me. One thing I'm wondering is when we create a subscriber, if we can tag them in any way. Obviously, we're not capturing anything other than just their email, which is absolutely fine. There's like custom fields. I was thinking about maybe tagging them with production or dev, depending on where it originated from, but won't worry about that too much. Okay, restart your server to pick up the M files. Let's give it a go. So I'll restart my server. I need to find my MailerLite account. I've already lost a tab, and it's logged me out. Excellent. Let's see, right. So let's go to my site and let's add myself. Successfully subscribed. Just check the logs. Successfully subscribed to MailerLite. That looks promising. And then if I go to MailerLite, let's see what we got, shall we? I was already in there, of course. Let's try another one, shall we? Let's just do a test at gregsharples.com. So, successfully subscribed. Right. So that looks 2 active subscribers. It's only showing me 1 of 2. Let's refresh that. There we go. Subscribed at 4:28. Obviously it's an hour out because it's summertime, but see, that's just come in. Perfect. So we've got the sign up is working on the site. It's nearly live. So all that's left to do is I'll push that live. I'll need to set my environment variables. All looks pretty good. So wash, push that. All that's left to do is I need to add my key to prod. So I'll just do that off screen. Bear with me. So I need to add that into Vercel. I think. I assume, anyway. So I'll show you what I'm doing. I won't obviously show you my key. Now then, how do we do that? Some settings somewhere maybe. Project name. So get, yeah, it's just linked to that folder. Environment variables. So this is where I'll add it. So it's MailerLite API key. Obviously I'm not going to let you see that. So I will just copy that in and save, and then it asks me if I want to redeploy. Yes, I want to redeploy. So that should now, once the deployment is complete, so let's just bring you back into the fold here so you can see it's building. Where's my MailerLite gone again? So Tabfest, isn't it? Okay, so that is deployed. So now I should be able to go to my, so I can go to my site, and now I can do prod test. Okay, apparently I'm successfully subscribed. MailerLite. Let's go and take a little look at that, shall we? I should be logged in, hopefully. Total active subscribers 3, that's good. Let's have a little look. Subscribers, sorry, talking with my hand over my mouth. Prod test, just gone through. So we're working, we've got newsletter sign up, we've got a live site. We're hot to trot, I think. Excellent, thanks for watching. Any questions? Ping me a message on X, YouTube. I'll add some more socials over the coming days. My plan is to basically build up the socials over the coming week. I haven't quite got what the plan is yet in detail, but I'll make another video on that once I get there. But I'll be working through that with ChatGPT. Come up with the plan over the next 7 days for the next 7 days, and yeah, hopefully we'll have everything set up and ready to go by the time it comes to start the big project in, well, it's Friday night now. I'm a week out, so we can have the app building starting pretty much exactly a week's time, more or less to the hour. Hopefully some people can join me for some of that, help me out, maybe learn something, mock my setup, laugh at my code, whatever. Yeah, hopefully see some of you there. Thanks for watching.